Welcome to Media. Media. Media? Media. Oh, 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 Media. All right, we're live?
We're live, yeah, man.
Yeah?
Oh, hello, welcome to the 0 Point podcast, episode 0 Point of the 0Media podcast series. This is a new podcast project that me, Corey, and Austin, my partner, are starting here for the new year. We're going to be bringing you a podcast, hopefully regularly, from the Zesty Electric Studios. We want to just take this first trailer podcast to explain a little bit about ourselves, the project, where we want to go with it, and then just our plans moving into the new year. So I'll send it over to my co-host here, Austin, to explain a little bit about himself, a little bit about how he's approaching this project, and we'll go from there.
Hey everyone, my name's Austin. I have a drinking Oh wait, sorry, that's my other meeting. Hey listeners, let me take a moment to allow me to introduce myself. First, I'll say I'm an educated person. I have a degree, a real degree. It's a Bachelor of Arts. My major is in international relations, which is multidisciplinary, mostly involving history, politics, communication, and I have a minor in cultural anthropology. This has facilitated my ability to see the world in a critical lens and appreciate the structures and systems involved in global politics and international order, while anthropology especially helped me to understand how human elements of culture and subjective values can form norms and changes within a society. In the last 4 years, I've graduated university, been an intern at the Canadian Embassy in Washington, D.C. I've traveled around the world for 6 months in Asia and Europe, worked in a veterinary lab, lived in California a few months, and recently had my first season planting trees here in Canada. I'm kind of all over the place, and I'm excited to see what the future holds and start this new adventure in Media and explore and share the adventures that we go through. Lastly, I'll say I've known Corey since grade 8 when we were little hooligans getting into shenanigans right through to university. We definitely never did anything against the status quo or got into any trouble. We would just go to protests. We ran some campaigns for student union, did some other things, and I couldn't ask for a better person than Corey to have as the co-founder for Media. He's also a DJ and music producer. He goes by Lao Z, and I'll let him talk a bit more about himself.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Austin. Like he said, my name's Corey. Austin and I are childhood friends. We've gone to junior high school. We both went to the same university. We go all the way back, and I think that's some of that history and that shared camaraderie is really going to be valuable in this project because both of us look at the world slightly differently, and that long-term kind of friendship is really going to be valuable in holding us together here. I want to explain a little bit about myself. I'm a University of Calgary graduate in the Faculty of Arts. Political Science was my major. I did Canadian Fur Trade History as my minor. I've studied Confederate systems, federal systems, and systems popular in countries like Canada and Australia. A big part of this project idea came from me kind of hanging out during this COVID lockdown scenario and really thinking about how to utilize this time to involve my friends in a creative project where we could kind of encourage each other to just hang out, talk about cool things, make funny jokes, and just keep building on a sense of community and kind of work against this, isolating tendency that's inevitably in place while we're trying to deal with this COVID pandemic. So hopefully with Media and this podcast series, we're going to be able to bring some livelihood to everybody's lives, encourage everybody to participate together, and bring some cool and unique perspectives.
Yeah, we're really excited to bring this project to everybody. About a month ago, Corey mentioned to me he wanted to start making a podcast, and something I've given a lot of thought to over the years, but not known how to really bring it forth in the right way. And now I think we really have something good that we're excited to share with everybody. still in development a little bit, but we're at the point where we're ready to move forward and start producing things. So we're excited to bring it to you and share with you some of the ideas that we have for the show. Overall, we want this to be a comedy news variety show kind of platform, generally about nothing.
Yeah, like Seinfeld.
Yeah, a show about nothing, really absence of meaning and having no intrinsic meaning, which allows us to give the show a full potential to really discuss everything. And like a circle that's empty and void on the inside with infinite tangents, our show aims to come from an unbiased perspective or 0 point on a blank slate in order to explore and investigate the infinite wonders of the world around us.
Yeah, and I think that last point's really important about how this project's going to operate. Like, you're going to quickly find that Austin and I don't necessarily see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we're going to be bringing in interview subjects and guests that maybe bring in other views and other ideas.
Corey's a materialist. I'm an idealist.
Well, we'll get to talking about that shortly enough, but the important part is to just kind of we're kind of going to try to approach this in a jovial, kind of fun, ludic kind of way with an unbiased kind of perspective, so that, you know, the point is to try to see through to the other side, and, you know, not to jostle over and win an argument necessarily, but really to try to, like, reach across the aisle,
Find some balance.
really try to understand each other and work on helping each other's perspectives and arguments and views ultimately, right?
And we always want to interview somebody each episode, get like another frame of mind in, kind of get that holy trinity of perspectives going to really find some truth in the world out there.
Exactly. I mean, ultimately and officially, the goal of this 0Media project is to connect people with each other, to nature, and to our true selves, really.
Amen. Yeah, no, we're doing this because we want to, like, kind of synergistically bring people together and battle those inherent polarizations of the world, and recognize that despite any differences people have, that we're better together than when divided.
Right? The sum is greater than the whole, right?
Exactly. Synergy.
Synergy.
So we want you all to join us on this cosmic journey we're going through time and space in a mythic nebula. We want you to ride with us and rise with us. If you're willing to jump in, we'll teach you to fly and achieve new heights of awareness and understanding of the world from a 0 point. Creating this show, we hope to inspire and connect the dots for a new quantum culture to arise and to promote a creative community to eventually overthrow the current global capitalist system that we have in the world. Or at least to have some fun and promote a lot of good people, some novel ideas, and interesting topics of conversation.
At least.
Yeah, but we really think that by having this, like, void and absence of explicit meaning for 0Media, we hope this is going to allow people to attribute their own meaning to the show and develop 0Media as members of our quantum creative community. And eventually this is hopefully going to lead to larger political revolution, and 0Media can be a forum for discourse, activism, and change.
Yeah, Austin wants to start the revolution, so that's going to be part of his ploy here, and we're gonna discuss the revolution, quote unquote, in future podcasts.
And this is where we play that, like, so you say you want to start a revolution.
Yeah, cue Beatles music.
Yeah. So we want the show to be inclusive as possible, with a broad and wide audience from all walks of life, whether you're a liberal, a conservative, a socialist, a scientist, a theist, or even a towel. That's a South Park reference to Towley, for anybody who's not enlightened with the South Park. And so as much as possible, we want to recognize our own biases and try to keep our slant grounded in a 0 point of relativistic reflection, one that really dissolves cultural programming, biases, and dualistic thinking. And we admit that we're far from perfect, and we want to encourage all our listeners to actively submit submissions on subject matter and their voices for opinions so that we can see through a clearer veil of subjectivity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this project comes with an open invitation for anybody listening or excited or wanting to be involved to really make suggestions about, interesting topics, cool current events, interesting songs or artwork, and then we're going to try to bring that kind of to the light of everybody, and just hopefully through bringing up all these little pieces, we're going to be able to provide a little bit more of a broad scope for everybody.
A good foundation for everybody to stand on.
Exactly.
It's quantum citizens.
Exactly. We're going to do this project in a way where it'll involve various segments. And those segments will include like the previously mentioned interview segments, but we're going to have other segments like our news space segment where we're going to get into topical current events and political news stories from around the world.
And locally.
Regionally as well.
Personally.
Talk about Kenny and his most recent decision, talk about what's
our favorite premier.
Our favorite premier, talk about what's going down with the CDC, how is that new strain in the UK looking,
Is Biden going to pack the courts?
Is it going to be President Kamala Harris sooner rather than later? Things like that. But on top of that, we're going to have segments like Wonder Why, where we explore kind of in a deeper context.
Dive into those philosophical topics.
More philosophically oriented
nature
subject.
Of life and reality.
Exactly. And I'll let Austin explain a couple more of our segment ideas.
Yeah, we're going to also have Feeling It. We're going to kind of just use that as a form for us to just talk about things that we've been getting into lately, things we're feeling, things we've just been enjoying generally, some music or like new workouts, whatever it is. But and then we'd also have a counter segment to that every now and then. We'd bring up our segment really not feeling it, stuff that's grinding our gears. We'll also go over different topics in other segments. We'll have something for mental health, technology, science, the environment. We're going to really try to cover all the bases here. I guess I'll just kind of cover a few of the ideas we have for the first few episodes. We want to discuss the quantum nature of the universe, as quantum is really going to be a big theme of our podcast, and it might seem like a big, weird topic, but we're going to try to simplify it for everybody to make it understandable. But yeah, we also want to talk about free will, human nature, bitcoins, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, man, we're going to go to town on, money, nature of free, of ledgers and cryptocurrencies, free will, determinism. These are all going to be really fun conversations.
Yeah, we'll talk about the afterlife.
And what you'll find as we have these conversations is Austin and I are going to probably be filling in different sides of these conversations. But you're gonna see how we're attempting to not increase the polarization between some of these
trying to
tension
bridge
points.
The gaps.
The real goal is to kind of try to see through that and try to see how things are interconnected, how they are interdependent.
See through the duality into where we can synergistically come together.
Exactly.
And agree on things that even though we don't agree, we can still come to some kind of agreement, hopefully.
Exactly.
Maybe we won't always come up with any true answers. A lot of the times our show will be unanswerable things and just try to stimulate people into thinking about life and wonder, curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All these questions are going to be very open-ended, and so therefore there shouldn't be any sense of somebody feeling the need to become ego defense. It's going to be, we're going to try to talk about these things in a way that reduce the tendencies of getting down into the dirt and getting egotistical about it and stuff like that.
We're gonna let our guards down, get all sensitive sometimes, and one last thing I want to say about some of the broader themes of our show is that we're gonna have cats and pirates as some of our official mascot themes. We want to use these symbols to inspire elements of curiosity and being a rebel for our listeners. And as Corey, you have to remember one thing. It's that I'm Captain Jack Sparrow. And
Take
if
what
you
want, give nothing back.
A new power is rising. Although that might be the Lord of the Rings. We'll have wizards as well. We're gonna make a new fun quantum imagination land. Imagination. Yeah, and a few last thoughts on my goals for the podcast is it might be a little out there, but I want to develop it as an area to help people discover harmony with nature from a zero point of understanding and transcending from our human conditions, being able to escape the confines of our nature and breaking free from the matrix around us. And we're going to do this through critical thinking and mental alchemy, where mental alchemy was the true value of alchemy, is like the hidden symbolism of it, is that alchemy might never have been able to turn lead into gold, but you can change the world by changing how you look at it. And that's far more valuable than any gold.
Beautiful.
Bam.
Beautiful.
So we're going to do a little recap of our years in 2020 and say some things that we're looking forward to in 2021. I'll just go first and jump right in there. And, you know, like, we want to keep our podcast mostly positive, but we're still going to have to realize that you have to appreciate the dark to understand the light. Or maybe it's understand the dark to appreciate the light. But either way, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. 2020 was pretty fucked up. It was a hell of a year. I mean, I was in California in January, and as a renegade bandit outlaw quantum pirate fellow I kind of found myself in some trouble with the law there, and I'm not going to just get into it now, maybe in another episode, but when I finally got home in February, my grandma died a week after I returned, and this was truly made February one of the darkest times of my life. Millie, Grandma, may you rest in peace. You were always sharp and witty and with a good humor, right to the very end. I hope you're still out there, and I'm sure you're working in some cosmic irony. I feel you with me all the time, or at least time to time. I love you, and it was always a blessing to have you with me. Anyways, sorry about the emotional drama and stuff. Just need a moment, but yeah, I love you, Grandma, and in ways it was a blessing for you to pass before COVID really hit Canada in March. And at that time I was working at a veterinary lab, still driving to work as an essential service worker on barren roads and early rush hour. It was like living in a different world, but I've been extremely lucky since then. Through the pandemic so far, I've still had a healthy family, and despite currently being on fun employment, I was able to do my first season of tree planting earlier in the summer, or through the spring and summer, and I made many amazing new friends there. But readapting back to a COVID society at the end of the season was really difficult, and since then I've been battling feelings of existential dread, and I'm sure many of you guys can relate to that in the pandemic, but luckily I have a great network of friends and family to support me, even if we're socially distanced. But I hope to utilize my blessings and have the blessings I have in life and bring that into this podcast and make an incredible journey for everybody, and to make 2021 an even more incredible year than we've had yet.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Any particular highlights for you over the course of the year?
I mean, seeing Trump lose the election from home.
It's a pretty big one.
It was a silver lining for sure. That, and the Black Lives Matter movement was just so inspirational in general to see people coming together.
Yeah,
Even
amazing.
in the pandemic, pretty much the largest modern revolution or protest that's happened on a global scale, and hopefully more comes to it. They've already made a lot of progress, and the battle's never over, really.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I guess for myself, I mean, just reflecting back on 2020, yeah, right. I mean, 2020. What do you say about it that hasn't already been said? What joke about wishing for it to be over do you make that you haven't already heard? I mean, we're recording this here on the final day of the 2020 year, and as we look forward into the new year and into this new project, thinking back, I really was just happy for any bit of time I got with family in 2020, because honestly, compared to any other year, there's been far less time with family, and it wasn't, it's the kind of, you don't know what you have till it's gone kind of a thing.
You never
right?
know what you got.
And it's tough,
You never know when you're gonna go.
Yeah, but I was able to earlier in the year, kind of in the summertime, during a bit of a lull in the pandemic, when things were a little bit less crazy. I did get an opportunity to see some of my elderly family in a safe way, and just know that I get to see them, tell them in person that I love them and care about them. Because I mean, even in a regular year, you don't know how much time you get, but a year like 2020, really reminds you of the sand slipping through the hourglass sometimes, and the fact that you got to take advantage of the moments that
really
you get.
Appreciate every moment you can get.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
live life to the fullest.
You gotta live it up. And I mean, in terms of my highlights, right? Like, it was family, and then I guess you stole my other one. Trump losing was a pretty good. That's a pretty good other highlight.
Yeah. As bad as 2020 was, at least Trump won't be president.
Right. I mean, it's definitely not gonna solve anything major, but it's.
We have a lot of uphill battles to go. And also, any Trump supporters out there, like, we want your opinions. Come on our show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're a part of 0Media if you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Come talk about policy. Come talk about ideas. We're ready to talk about them. But just in terms of, the cumulation of 4 years of that term.
It was messy at the very least.
and I think it kind of, it ends up being a highlight because it just happened, right? Like, it's December now. The election was just a few short months ago.
I don't know. That might be a highlight of the whole decade.
Well, I mean, I don't want to...
Let's hope there's better things to come than losing an election. But
it's certainly fresh.
Yeah. I guess some things that we could talk about that we're excited to bring in 2021, looking forward to. I mean, first off, this podcast, we're really excited to see what it grows into, and we really think it has a lot of potential. We have like a ton of ideas. We did some brainstorming. We really have like 20 segments, like dozens of people we want to interview, and so yeah, we're looking forward to bringing that all to you guys as soon as we can. We're going to just get it a little bit better organized, and hopefully we'll be able to do like a few podcasts a month and work towards doing one weekly, at least while the pandemic's going on, especially, and until we eventually find other stuff to do in our lives. But ideally, we want this podcast to be a new inherent part of our lives as well. But I mean, otherwise, Corey actually was talking to me a while ago about like doing a TEFL certificate to be able to teach English like in Asia or abroad online. It's something that like I've noticed a few of my friends actually going for, and I think we're both really going to seriously sign up in the next month really and go through the program. It's like a 3-month program, and it'll open a lot of doors for us.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2021 tomorrow, and it's time to get your learn on, work on yourself, work on developing some skill sets.
Self-enrichment.
There's still going to be some social distancing and lockdown circumstances at play here for the next little bit for sure. And that's a perfect time to, hit the books, get an extra certificate added on there, right? And move forward once this is all over with a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, being able to travel again once this is all over.
As soon as the borders open, we're gonna have to take a 2-month pause on the podcast.
We'll have back, 0Media.
We'll come back with some content, but
2-month-long COVID orgy.
Yeah, I'm gonna need 3 weeks on Koh Rong just to start it off, and then I'm gonna need to fucking go to a monastery in Chiang Mai and spend 5 days in complete silence just to fucking deal with the existential reality of this year.
Yeah, if we get once we have our TEFL certificates, if we're able to travel to Asia, and there's a chance we might be doing this podcast from abroad and in Asia and from around the world as we go into the years moving forward. But yeah, I mean, one other thing I'm looking forward to seeing in 2021 is just Biden's presidency. Like, is he gonna fix the EPA? Like, do we have any hope for our environment going forward? And
well, we're gonna see, man. Everybody said that for that last 4 years of Trump did a number, so we're gonna have to expect a lot of action and change here over the next 4.
Even last couple months of Trump's presidency, and he's not going down without a fight. He's making it so that Biden's taking over these organizations, government bodies, which are refusing to cooperate with him. So, and then there's the question of the Supreme Court. Is Biden just going to appoint new members to the Supreme Court and increase how many people are on the court and pack that courtroom full as he can? But it's all things that find out. We'll surely cover some of these on the podcast in the future. And I guess one last thing that I'm really looking forward to in 2021 is once I can get that vaccine and the superpowers that I get.
Exactly. The Moderna superpowers. That's one of the rare side effects, but some people are developing the ability to fly, breathe underwater, etc. And we're really hoping to come out with some fucking serious superpowers.
I mean, we're both already superheroes. We wear masks. We might not always wear capes, but like, you know, I think it's time to get some mutant powers.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it from us for now. We just want to say thanks for listening to this little intro of our podcast series. Have a great 2021.
Yeah, Happy
Look
New
forward
Year.
to our content coming out, and as terrible as 2020 was, we hope you made the most of it, and we hope you make the most of this one coming up. Love you guys.
One love.